We're just not the ones that's able to see. Okay. When you're ready, Kumu.
I'm ready when you guys are ready.
Okay, cool. Thank you for your patience. So again, this is so new for me because I'm not able to see who's coming on, but it's okay. We know that whoever comes on, and we're just gonna post this to all of our different like Zoom, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever we can. So anyway, today we have Kumu Pua coming with us, but we just want to thank everybody for jumping on and continuing the prayers for Mauna Kea and all sacred places around the world, coming on for 553 days. 553 days for Mauna Kea, where we all say Mauna Kea is restored to her true splendor, because believing in our words, believing, seeing her restored to her true splendor is really important for all of us, not only us as Kanaka Maoli, but for all of us and all of our sacred places around the world, like Buyong Puyuk, Mount Shasta, Chichilba Dogotio, Oak Flat, and so many beautiful sacred places around the world. So today we're going to have Kumu Pua come and share with you folks, because I would believe we're coming up on a beautiful number. And thank you to, is it Kuipo, Kumu?
Aloha. Yes, Kuipo Freitas was, I believe, the one that started with Law 1 and started to keep track. And this was in 2015 at the frontline stance that we had that year. And then some of us have kept that going all the way until now, which we are in 1,869 days today for the larger collective, and 299 days for this current stance for Mauna Kea. And then we have your numbers too. So really it's all about those sacred numbers. And it's very important that we do that so that we stay connected and we stay inspired, and it gives us an action, an activity, something that we can all participate in to keep us connected and aligned and inspired to stand for Mauna Kea. These are the small things that all join together become the big things. So yes, tomorrow will be a big day for us as well, for all of us.
Yes. So Kumu, what can people do to be part of it?
Okay, so we just posted today. This is something that I'm going to just give you a little bit of background. Since Law 1 until this present law, at many significant dates, like all the hundreds, whether it's 200, 300, 500, 1,000, we've all paused to ask people to do something for Mauna Kea. And mostly it's a visible symbol of standing for the Mauna. So we're not, although there are times when we are right in a front line, or when something very significant is happening, like testifying, for example, signing a petition, standing somewhere, it depends on what's going on in the moment. That's my daughter Kapule in the back. So it depends on what's going on, if there's a big action or there's a smaller action. But it always is accompanied by asking people from around the world to post a sign, to post a picture, because this is where we see who is standing, and we lift one another up, and we give gratitude to each other from everywhere around the world. And who doesn't want to do that, you know? So tomorrow is no different. Law 300, we are asking people to post their most favorite picture, and we know there's trillions of the past. Pick one of the past 300 days that really moves you. It doesn't have to be on the Mauna, it could be anywhere. And to send it to Actions for Mauna Kea, or to post it on Instagram and tag Protect Mauna Kea. And we will create a video, And the video we're creating is a music video that will go accompany a song that was actually written on the mountain for the Mauna in those early days in this present movement. So there's so many reasons that we have to keep doing that, or these days will pass us by and it'll be just like any other day, and you won't pause and say, wow, this is what I'm a part of. Now, that's just for tomorrow. There are a lot of things happening right now that I'm just asking people to be aware that since we're officially down from Mauna Kea right now, which is so important because it gives the mountain a time to breathe, like all other places are. Aren't they breathing right now? Every sacred place and the air around it, the oceans connected to it, the waters that run through it, they're all taking a breath now because we're home. And when we're at home, we're not impacting, even with our best intentions. Even when we are standing for somewhere, we leave an imprint and we make an impact. And right now, we're trying to keep that footprint to as minimal as we can so that they fully can take a full breath. And so coming down the Mauna right now is really based on really three things. One, we don't believe imminent construction attempts are going to occur right now. We don't believe that. However, we also are ready should it happen. So when we say that, it doesn't mean that we're not working 24/7 to ensure that if a kahea needs to go out, then we will be ready. But for right now, what it enabled us to do was really to clear, to clean, to bring things down, to make an assessment, to say, what do we really need up here? Because if you understand that we went from 30 to 3,000, and on some days we were 7,000 in a lava field. Right now, it's a chance for us to say, okay, what's necessary? Should we need to come up? What exactly do we need? What have we learned? What did we do great? What can we revise a little? I have to be careful about what I'm saying and how much I'm saying because I'm always monitored and I need to remember that. So what I'm gonna say to people, especially those who got a little excited yesterday when the governor said that they were going to open the astronomy facilities up on Mauna Kea. And people got a little bit nervous to say, oh, I think that means a construction attempt is going to be made. That's what we have to monitor all of the time. So what I would say to everyone out there, and as you share this, we have been doing this for 10 years. This is not our first rodeo. We have been through 2 contested cases. We've been to 2 Supreme Court hearings. We have been in 2 frontline actions, and our every day is how we're going to safeguard Mauna Kea and how we're going to halt this project downside. This is nothing new to us. So because we can't share everything, because then everybody would know, and then, and I'm talking about everyone who stands on the other side. So you have to, this is the place where you trust. You trust and believe in those on the ground, those from that ground, those who have stood on that ground for at least 10 years or longer, who are deeply embedded, who would never leave this movement, who would never abandon this movement, who aren't going anywhere. I live a half an hour from the mountain. I'm not going anywhere. And neither are all of those who have come before me and those in the movement right now. But don't get too nervous. We maka'ala, of course, we are alert, we are vigilant. Yes, we are monitoring. And yes, should the need be, we will decide on what that action is. But never is there a moment where we don't have our eyes and our hearts on the Mauna. So I just want to say that so that people just, like, let's breathe with it. So we're off of the Mauna because of that reason. We're also needing to, should be polling and pooling our resources of the funding that is necessary to keep a camp together, and to make sure that when we are utilizing those funds, especially now, that it's because we're standing in a frontline action. So we are mindful of that. We have to be responsible organizers, responsible as heads of doing, and just responsible kia I to the Mauna. And then the COVID virus, I call it the messenger, really. When the messenger has appeared, that interwove, of course, into the concerns. And really, for me personally, I'll just stay with me personally, I didn't want to see the virus come up to the camp. I did not want to see it take a foothold there. But the other reasons are huge umbrella reasons. But also the aha on the mountain, as you know, calls people every single day, times a day to the Mauna. And so we were just like, inviting what could have become spread between all of us to the Mauna. So having so many, this is what decisions are made of, don't you think? This is what big groups sit together and say, okay, let's factor it all in. But it comes down to the bottom line of health and safety. And health and safety is not just about what's happening in the current situation, but it's also about, is there imminent threat of construction right at the moment? Let's take a breather. So in 2015, when we came down at the end of the year, which was really in November, we didn't have to go back up till 2019. So let's see what this time holds for us. So for me, the work just continued. The location changed. I came down off of the Mauna. I went straight back in with some of the others into, okay, what's next? How can we halt the project right now? And it's been ever since. So really, again, for some of us, it's just the location that's changed. The work is 24/7 still. For most of us, just stay connected. One, you can stay connected to my page, Pu'uhuluhulu page, Protect Mauna Kea Instagram. We will provide you with information. Two, just be ready. As always, have your mask ready. Have your bag ready. Just be ready. Doesn't mean if it happened tomorrow, everybody could be there. We'll have to see what the best course of action would be. As leadership, that's what you do. So being ready, being available to, if there's an action that goes out and we say, everybody write to the UH tomorrow, either at Berkeley or at Manoa, whatever is asked, if it's a pono action and it's coming from those from the Mauna, those on the ground, those who have been standing, then we are going to ask you to please participate. So some of the things can be big and they can be heavy, and yes, and some of it can be simple. So if you feel like you can stand on the mountain in a front line, I'm asking you to feel like you can submit a photo and you can be a presence, because being a presence every day is, over the long haul, more than being on the mountain for 10 days, right? Or 100 days. But how about being a presence every day? That's where the everyday routine of that kind of work happens. That's where habits are formed, good habits, protocols for yourself, self-discipline. The more we can self-discipline, the more that we do, the easier it'll be if we have to go back up there, because you'll get a direction and you'll fall right in. So tomorrow is, can you post a picture? One photo. And let's see, how many will say, oh, I can because I am a presence for the Mauna. So posting this photo. I've seen some already. I haven't even chosen my favorite photo. I'm trying to look for which one tells my story. So when we say choose a favorite one, it really does mean about looking back at your own story on Mauna Kea. What story do you want to tell through that photo? And again, it's the past 300 days. It could be somebody from South Africa, somebody from Tasmania, somebody from Canada. You weren't on the mountain, but you were on the Mauna. And you have a photo perhaps of being on your mountain, holding your hand up, whatever it is, and where you come from, saying your prayer, doing your aha. We mean that too. It's wherever you are in the past 300 days, that's going to just be that photo that when we hear the song and we see these photos, we'll weep. We'll weep, and we'll say, oh my gosh, is that what we really did in the past 8.5 months? Is that what we really accomplished? Is that what each photo is going to align and support, when our heart starts to open and we just like, oh my gosh, remember. And it comes all back right there in that second. So that's Law 300. Law 1870 will be tomorrow as well. And yeah, and then you have your law count as well. So these are all really important. And we have over 400,000 signatures on our petition. These numbers are going to perhaps make the difference in the end,
Right. And Kumu, I know that you folks are asking for like pictures for actions for Mauna Kea. Today is Mauna Kea Aware Day, right?
Yes.
And
Sacred place.
yes.
Yeah, you know, on the back.
Of course, got my kapu aloha. We are Mauna Kea. And of course, Uncle Jeffrey's earrings. And
oh yes.
Yes. And like I posted, like everybody, Kumu Pua has her shirt, the Kukulu shirt, which has the chant behind there, which is what they call the procession chant that Kumu Pua wrote. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kumu, when you were up at Standing Rock with Auntie LaDonna then.
I wrote it inspired by that. I actually wrote that chant at the Ahu.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So if you if you guys would love a Kukulu shirt, I think you can message Kumu Pua.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll direct you to her sister, I believe.
Yes. And I do want to say about that as well. Like, yes, I think that we started this in 2012, with the Mauna Kea shawls. We had our first ever t-shirt, which was the Poliahu Ike Kapu shirt. Now we have the Kukulu shirt, but really over time, the number of shirts, hats, attire, regalia, merchandise. Somebody yesterday or a few days ago just messaged me. She had a ring that she wanted to put out there for purchase and she would donate, and the most important thing when people ask me, oh, how much donation is going here or is there, I say, you know what? We are here to be a presence for the Mauna. A lot of us are creating these designs and out of our own pockets, struggling, but yet something moves people to say, oh my gosh, I got an idea and I'm going to create something. And the beauty of it is that we get to enhance who we are because we wear it. We get to be the Mauna. Yes, if people can donate to Aloha Aina, to Kahea, Mauna Kea Education and Awareness, whomever that is standing for the mountain, that's wonderful. But if you are an artist that you're just starting and you have something that you really need to share, you put food on your plate. and you do the best you can for your ohana. To me, that's serving the mauna too. It's just about trusting, and that's just my mana'o again. Please don't come for me. I got enough things that I need to be wary of, that I'm speaking from my heart to say, let's be kind to those who are taking the time to make sure that we are present by what we surround when we wear our ceremony. And that to me is thankfulness enough. And then if you can donate something, of course, that's just common sense, kuleana kind things. But so just a tribute to every single person who's created for us, because on the ala hulu kupuna, didn't we see like shirts I never saw before? Like jewelry that I didn't even know existed, like, and all I kept saying was, oh my gosh, I need one of those. And I said on the ala one day that I wanted to do a Mauna fashion show, because I tell you, those kia'i up there, they know how to wear their Mauna attire. And it really struck me that from kupuna to keiki, these guys knew how to dress it. And so I have not, once I say I'm going to do something, I always do it. So that is something that I want to see really completed, that puka that I said with my Leo. When this is all good, let's celebrate and let's bring our kia'i together, and let's show who we are in all of our glory. And let's just say, no, 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 you're not going up our mauna. And this is who we are in full power, in full strength, because not only because we want to, but because we have to. We have to. So even though most of the time I'm working on with others, of course, to halt this project, all those management plans, all those strategic plans, all those endless meetings, the thought that constructing the TMT because it's shovel ready, which it's not, because it has its funding, which it doesn't, because it'll be the save all for construction economy. No, it won't. I mean, there's things every day. I take a moment to say, wow, wouldn't a fashion show be like really amazing?
Right. That would be beautiful, Kumu, actually. We know to call Kanoi Lenny Davis, huh? Just kidding.
There's 1,000 of them out there that
Right.
yes, indeed, though. And those longtime designers for the Mauna, those longtime kia'is who came in from the beginning to lay the foundation for what the Mauna, the look the Mauna would have, that we would have a look. And it's more about, as soon as you put whatever it is that you put on and you go out the door, you're wearing the Mauna and you are the Mauna. And I hope that it does remind us of how to be the Mauna when we're out there, how to be really knowledgeable, so that when we get questioned, when we get asked, that we know the answers. There's a whole lot of reasons of why you wear your movement, but one of the most important things to know is that you will be asked about it. When you wear it, they're going to ask you. And so you have to be ready as well, have that fact sheet that we give out in the car or whatever. You need to speak to it as well as pray and dance to it. So that's really important. And it keeps me mindful of that. Like, oh, I see them coming. What about when they ask me this question? So it keeps me knowing that I have to always be studying or getting the latest information, that kind of thing. So I'm up on what I need, how I need to respond. And so all of that comes with just putting on a shirt in the morning.
It's a great
Yeah,
talking piece, right, Kumu?
it is. It really is.
Even wearing Uncle Jeffrey's earrings, being here on Turtle Island, people will be like, "Oh, I like your earrings," and they don't say anything else. I'm like, Oh yeah, you know why? Because I'm standing from my sacred mountain, Mauna Kea in Hawaii, and then they look at me, and then they start asking questions.
Yeah. And even with that as well, there are so many people around the world that know our product, our symbols of what we wear. And that's one of them, because he came out early on and he was very supportive and helpful when we all traveled, that he made sure that we had makana to give. And
Mhm.
the Mauna Kea Shawl Society that we have created has been beautiful for me, because till today I can say there's a warrior in need. Everybody put your shawl on. There are some real true medicine that comes with what we're wearing and what we're doing. And so, I mean, if you have a shawl from 2011, 2012, and you have a shawl now, it does, how many times have we said to others who are suffering, just wrap yourself in your shawl and I will too. And that even makes me emotional, like right now, because I have said that over time through just reading posts on Facebook. When somebody says, I'm suffering, and I say, do you have a shawl? And they say, yes. I say, put yours on. I'm going to put mine on and let's go to bed with it. Let's be wrapped in our shawl. Or during surgeries, in the hospitals, I have my shawl on, me too, and I'm going in for, the person is going in for their cancer radiation treatment. I mean, and that's just ours. That's why I know, because
Mhm.
that's a Mauna Kea shawl. But I also know that others who have created um, like kiheis, or whatever it is, jackets, all of those things, if you just put the right intention into it,
Mhm.
it's a strength and a medicine. And so I can't say enough thank yous to every single person who's in their whole heart has said, I have to create something for our Mauna, and put it out, and dared to put it out, knowing that, who knows how it's going to be accepted, and bypassing all of that and just saying, Akua made me do it, what and you're just going to do it. And
Mhm.
so but I'm also at the same time saying thank you to everyone who checks in with us as well, because when you're from another movement, or even when you're in this movement, we have to always also be really responsible of for what we put out on as our designs, because the mountain is so dear to everyone. So you also have to be responsible to the pono of it all.
Mhm.
Just can't throw out any old thing, and say, oh, this is for Mauna Kea, and we all go, oh, So, I mean, there's a check and balance for sure, and it doesn't have to be me. But if you're designing something and you're not established, especially if it's your first time and you're not sure, but you have something like in your heart, check in with somebody. Again, always follow the people who have been in this and have never led you astray. Never led you astray. Whether it's Mauna Kea or any other place that belongs to a people, there are individuals who have been in this that have never led us astray. And I follow them. I follow them and I listen. And so, if that's me or somebody before me or others before them, there surely is a protocol in everything we do. And I find that the learning experience of our lifetimes is to really know that. So when we step into someone else's movement, we know how. We've been schooled, and no need learn too many things, no need get scolded too many times, you know so there's so much with this right now.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, Kumu, about protocols. And I know not everybody understands that, because I know being hula people, like we learn like pretty massive protocols depending on who your kumu was. But people who've not been raised in tradition sometimes, you know, don't understand that. And I think that's what's been beautiful about Mauna Kea and No Dapo as well as Oak Flat. There's all these sacred movements going on, and that when they enter with these different tribes as well as Mauna Kea, I know I've heard people say, "Oh, I got scoldings, I got this." I said, "You have to understand because it's very sacred. There's certain things you have to follow, and you have to think." Um, I mean, it's kind of sometimes hard to explain to them, but the best way I can teach them, share with them, is going to church. Like, would you act like that if you went to your church?
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Right.
And so sometimes they forget. They just see that it's land.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many great lessons right there. And you know what? It's not just for people outside or, like, oh, you're a visitor or there are guidelines. It doesn't matter who you are. You coming into a sacred place, you coming into a movement, are you ready to abide by just the general guidelines that create safety, that create boundary, that align with the environment you're in, that align with practices that came before us? It's like the place tells you by its very nature of certain guidelines, and then behavior, conduct, really, I want to say it in a way that's compassionate to everybody, in that you either the host or the guest when it comes to culture. If you're going to stand for something that doesn't have any culture associated with it, like you're going to save something, everybody going to run down the beach and we're going to try stop them from doing something pono ole. But there's no native people that is starting that movement. It's just about saving something, and it doesn't start out as a people's land base or movement. There's protocol to that. There's general guidelines how you're going to act so that you can do something without chaos. But as soon as you have stepped into a cause, a situation, a movement, frontline action, whatever you want to call it, and you are on someone's territory, there then goes into action host and guest, native of a place and non-genealogically tied to the first people of the place. Nothing wrong with that, because sometimes we are the host and sometimes, you better believe, we are the guest. So it's not like we get to say we're always the host. But here in Hawaii, we are. And yes, if you're born and raised here or you've been here a long time, but you're not of that bloodline, it can be a little challenging. And we recognize that, because you might say, well, I live here all my life. Well, that's pono, that's my ka'i, and we need you. But this particular movement is tied to the genealogy of this place, in its language, in its story, in its life ways, in its belief system. And so all of us have to learn that. But for those of us who are of that place, it's a kuleana that you inherit. You have inherited that. It's a fine line. And that could be a college course for your whole 4 years. So I don't want to, say any which way. I just want to say that, there's a host and there's a guest. And if you go to a movement where you cannot abide by it because you're not aligned with that, like, oh, what they're doing is something that you cannot participate in, then you have choices. Like, you can leave. But for the host, for the most part, cannot, if they're going all the way. So those of us who go to assist, that's the difference. We can leave and go home. We can leave and it's not like we're not going, oh, Grandma Rim would say, because our grandma not of that bloodline or what have you. But it is a fine line, and I'm sensitive to those who feel like they're almost there. You almost of that people because your heart is Hawaiian or what have I think like a Hawaiian, whatever. I'm local, I hunt and fish. Yeah, there's all of that. It's a fine line. And if we all just follow the rules, no need even worry. It's when you don't stay in your lane. It's when you overstep. It's when you try to advance to the front line and you got no business being there. It's when you overstep. That's when you're going to get scolding. And rightly so. And one thing about Hawaiians, at least on Mauna, the scolding is so subtle because we have a way about us. We don't like make you feel bad. We don't like do that. So sometimes we let it go for too long. Sometimes we let it happen because we don't want to address it, because it will just cause a feeling. We lead with the heart to go, oh God, maybe they're going to learn on their own. Maybe they're going to learn. How come they don't know? Whereas if you go to somebody else's place, and I love this about people who just say, hey, get back in the back row or go home. You're not following the rules. And they do it to their own as well as to others. I love that. I really love that. I look at that, I go, oh, I bet. And it makes me just like, oh, I better make sure I know what the rules are. Like if I go to Aotearoa, there's subtle rules and then there's really like rules in your face, You gotta make sure, how much do I know so that I don't step out of line, so that I don't overstep, even if I didn't know it. And then I'm like, ooh, oh, like, why did I do that? And then you go home and you're still thinking about that for about 2 weeks, right? Or maybe 2 years. Like, damn, that time I went in there and I shouldn't have done that. And even though they forgave me, oh man, why did I do that? So, we all been there.
Yes.
Been there, right? And so, man, so it's about stepping in right. Stepping in right. And I hear that amongst our people too, the soldiers, of us all, you better come right. And that's for anybody. And I love it. I love that. I'm learning a lot about having to be more vocal and upfront but still kind, to say, excuse me, that's not the place for you. And maybe I'm going to tell you why, and maybe I'm not going. But that's things that I learned as well. I'm always learning, and it's sensitive. It's very sensitive, and I don't know why it's so sensitive, because it's just common sense things. But we get all about hurt feelings and egos, and I should, and how come not? And then I think you go home then. Just go home, because you just went from being beneficial to detrimental. And no more place for that in some of these movements. There's just no, it's exhausting to have to deal with that. But I'll say particularly for the Mauna, 800, well, 8.5 months, thousands of people. I have like this little thing I say to myself is we never went below 90% of being great on the Mauna. I mean, who does that? Who in a lava field holds a camp together like that and creates an opportunity of a lifetime for the whole world to view 3 times a day, to come and pray, to be your beacon, to be a place where you can come and feel loved and welcome. And we working our rear ends off to make sure that you're fed, you have a place to sleep. And if you namu namu when you leave, it's like poho, poho. You know, do you not get how hard this is to do this with no security? Just kapua aloha, just your self-discipline, just our guidelines, our aha, you know. And so I always felt like we were like 90% great. And the other things were just learning when you have that many people, when you have, you know, when you're in that kind of an environment, we just learning how to deal with things. So one day I'm going to celebrate that. One day I'm going to really celebrate that. For now, tomorrow I'm celebrating. You know how I'm learning to even know what happened up there is tomorrow we're releasing a video, a music video of Kapule's photographs. That she's my younger daughter, and she was one of the media crew that put all the photos out on Protect Mauna Kea with her fellow photographers and videographers. And so we put a montage of her photos together for Havani's Radio Ready Together We Rise. And we're releasing it tomorrow for Law 300. And just going through those photos day after day caused me to really realize that we were even there, And it kind of made me touch and anchor into it just a little bit. So tomorrow we'll be bringing that out for everybody as our gift for Law 300. And Havani, in my spare minutes, which I'm going to get to right after this, the Hoku Awards are voting is happening on the final ballot today and for about 3 weeks. And Havani made it in 3 categories for the Hoku Hanu Hanu Awards for her CD. And if you know our journey, it's been anything but glamorous. People say that to us all the time, must be nice. Huh? I say, walk a day, dears, just walk a day. And but it and you would know that because her CD has taken 4 years to complete. If it were done sooner, you would know that life was easier. But it's taken us 4 years to finally have put it out. And then it came out right before the July 12th. Came out on June 24th. Boom, we went straight there. But still it managed to find its way into the Hokus. And so I'm going to just be the mother and make sure that the word is spread to the Hoku voters. And but it's more about, my gosh, another truly huge celebration and achievement. When I think about the journey, the hard journey of making that CD was kind of like walking all the way up the mountain for 4 years. And so to be able to do that, and then to now watch her working on her second CD, working with producers and songwriters to write some really beautiful music about this current movement, but about healing for the whole world and people that she holds dear to her heart that have worked really hard in their own movements. I think the work that she's doing and the work of all our musicians, my God, the musicians that came up to the Mauna cannot even count, cannot even count all of the artists of all kinds, all occupations, all genres, all things that are now telling the story. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Yeah. Who do you remember, Mikilani, coming up the Mauna that you really like said, whoa?
Hmm. Actually, what I'm reflecting on is when La'akea them were up there, before July of 2019. I remember Havane and La'akea them singing with each other, and how the beginnings. I mean, for me,
Oh, La Kea Trask, probably.
yes,
Yeah, La Kea. Yeah, singing on that from 2000 and really 12, but 14 was when it started getting going, 15, the beginnings, really the beginnings. And then all the way till now, I mean, I think of highlight for me is for sure Damian Marley being on the mountain with us, coming in humble, and how hard we worked with his crew to have them understand that there wasn't going to be a stage. No, there wasn't going to be a big sound system. You come in like anybody else, ho'okupu, sing your songs. To watch him come in humility, knowing how, just knowing how to do it, and presenting himself true testament to Father. And many of us had honored, I mean, Bob Marley had been our hero. And to not have his son on the Allah singing to us in the voice of his father. I remember at the very end, I got to spend a little time with him and just saying, your father is here today because his father was there for us through him. And man, we had, yeah, that was a moment, but there's so many. Of course, Jason Momoa is still so closely tied to us. Like, he checks in with us weekly. My little Instagram, I love you, Jason. I love you too, Auntie. But more than that, what can I do? If you need me, let me know. There's the big, you might call them like stars, but they're people. There are people. They came as our people, and they came because their status allows them to spread the word, and we depend on that. So we don't criticize them when they come, whether it's The Rock, whether it's Nicole, whoever it is. They came knowing they could spread the word, but they came in pure humility. And just watching that, but also the singers of bands throughout Hawaii that came, from Hawaiian to reggae to everything in between, from all over the Pacific and the world, having Nako, Trevor Hall. Those were special moments for me personally, that all of us had special moments because those connections that we had made sure that they came, and mine came and others came for other people. And that is what family's about. And those are the most beautiful moments on that mountain. Some of them was the music, the dancing, the chanting, and intermingled in there was the very hard work of it all.
yes, yes. And Kumu, I just wanted to say that, I wanted to add for the Kia'is, when I got to go home finally after a year and a half to visit, I just I was talking, I don't know, I think I was talking to my tita here or something, but I was saying how, you know, to be on that mauna and to do ceremony 3 times a day, sometimes four if you're getting up early. I'm always so grateful for them to be there, because people don't realize the work. I mean, it is work, but not the type of work we're thinking like when you go to a job, but it's something because you're passionate about it, to say, okay, 8 o'clock is aha, 12 o'clock is aha, 5 o'clock is aha, you doing all these different things that people are asking you to do. Me going on to live feeds, it's like people don't realize that that's how passionate we are about our mauna.
And how you have to stay consistent when you made that kind of commitment, you know. I mean, oh my gosh, the behind the scenes. There were times up there, it's like, okay, I'm going to run down to my house, wash my clothes. Oh, sorry, my phone's ringing. Hurry up, come back up, do the next aha. Or between Kikuhi and I and the other, we called each other the aha peeps. how we would, let me just shut my phone off.
It takes a lot of stamina and discipline.
Kumu's answering her phone right now.
Yeah, I think what people, oh my gosh, it's Tulsi Gabbard calling. Shoot us, Tulsi Gabbard. Up, Tulsi. She's calling about those, I don't know, those meetings they're having. And thank you, Tulsi, for reminding me all the time. But yeah, the behind the scenes where we would say, okay, who's doing the 8? Okay, I can do the 12. Okay, I get the 5. Got to realize those were 3 times a day for almost, 300 days. And at the beginning, I was doing it and I was exhausted from it because too, you have to stay in that power of it, facilitate all the way around it. So this facilitation, the chanting, the dancing, but that is the necessary component, at least of our movements, the aha, keep us grounded, keep us mindful, keep us in the protocol and the ritual. Don't give us too much time in between for idleness, for negativity. Keeps you staying right where you need to be in that particular vow. And I have to say, I was just dancing with Lanakila today because Lanakila does a live every day. And he was doing it from the Hamakua Cultural Center in Honoka'a, where we have 2 kukulu exhibits up right now. And he was showcasing those exhibits today. And so I said, I'm going to get up off this couch and do Ohanau ka Mauna, Mauna Kea Kuahivi, and then we did Kanaloa, and just that he has continued that, and he's continued it in a way that for those who need it. Because I hope everybody understands that official aha belongs to the Mauna. It really does. It has a function and a purpose that is solely tied to the mountain. That particular aha had to go to rest with the Mauna to be reinvigorated. It belongs there because we also didn't want to see it just kind of dwindle. No, we couldn't have that. But Lanakila does it as a manner of keeping, it's one way of keeping you connected when you need that strength. It's one way to keep you active and dancing, to get you ready if that's the readiness that you need, is through that. Then you can, because we promised them we would try to keep this going for as long as we could, as far as the connection that people felt. So he's really done that every day at 12. So if anybody's watching out there and you need that and you don't know that he's doing it 3 times, I think, on Facebook, 2 times on Instagram a week, something like that. He just switched it up. So I know he's also doing it on Instagram now. And if that's what you need, by all means, he's there for you. He's there for you. And he does give you teachings, instruction, updates on some things that are happening, because his work is the mountain, as we all know as well.
Yes, Kumu. And that's amazing. That's awesome that, like I said, so many of us who, like you, Lanakila, I mean, Havani, you're right. Not everybody sees. What did you say earlier, Tita?
As far as
what Kumo's saying, so she had to check on that phone call.
Oh no, you folks were talking about earlier. It takes a lot of stamina and discipline to be up there like that. That not a lot of people have,
I don't know if you could hear her, Kumu.
What was her comment?
She said it takes a lot of stamina and discipline to be there, and there's talks, like she and I have had talks here, like we'd be sitting down, having a meal and talking about, also when we come to the mountain, that's an amazing thing, is going to the mountain. She says, we laugh because she goes, "Whoo, the white," and I come out, and then she goes, "Yeah," but I brought that up only because, in a good way, because she understands too, like there's a certain conduct when you go to the mountain, but also, like, I love, and that's why Kumu made the shirt. It says sacred mountain, sacred waters, sacred conduct, because you would always say that And it, for me, it reached my spirit like deep inside, because then it really took me to that whole nother level of changing, because I'm like, whoa, I am a descendant of the Mauna. I am from Hawaii. I am Koko Hawaii. And if she's my mama, how am I conducting myself out in this world? Am I representing my Mauna in a good way? Of course, I'm not perfect. I'm always still learning, but how do I change from the inside out? And so it's really taught me how to really walk in kapu aloha a lot more, and to walk in love. And even when things are going on, because I would think about you, Kumu, and everybody who's been standing for the Mauna and going through court cases, and not getting upset or mad, and just holding it like our Mauna, because we are a descendants of Mauna Kea. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up, because there is a certain expectation from the Mauna, right?
There's an expectation. I think that it's like when you go to Halepule, like you said earlier, isn't there an expectation when you go there? It's a different, perhaps, I mean, that's the easiest way so that people can really relate to it. Like we say, if you talk about your Halepule, your church setting, your sacred place in this world, your holy place, that's the nearest to being able to equate it to perhaps the mountain. But for a lot of people going to the Halepule, it maybe it's not even tied to genealogy. For some it is, but for others, for most people, it's a choice. You know, you say, which one I going to do? I going to do that one. You know, maybe, and so you kind of have a choice. But these kinds of commitments that you make, you and call upon your kupuna 3 times a day, every day. You said na au makua. You said eho mai. And I'm sure there was a moment when they said, okay, then eho mai too. You know what I mean? This is like, okay, if you asking, we giving.
Right.
But we did give, and it's not even, it's like it's just a universal law. Like we always said, kanavai, the laws, the original instructions, that from the universe itself, that from the mountain herself, that from the nature beings on the mountain, the bigger picture, the universal, the kanavai of the nature and its elements that keeps everything in line, that we keep fighting against as little people, you know, that we think we can control, and all of that. You really see on the Mauna where, you know, and for everybody grew, and there's no measurement of who grows more than another. I get a long way to go in a lot of ways, but I'm closer to it for myself than I would have been if I'd never stepped into the mountain. I mean, my whole way of being is shaped by the Mauna. But if I had not known the mountain, that wouldn't be so. And so for every single person, there's some level of growth, and that's up to them. There's change or not, there's growth or not, but you cannot help be touched by it. And even when you're touched by it, there's some kind of something that happens within you uh, that just stirs you, and you go, whoa, okay, I'm gonna keep that right here, and I'm gonna retrieve it when I need it, you know. But it's there, and that, you know, we see that from people. The last days up there, I swear, had people from Paris and London, Germany, Netherlands, Switzerland that were coming in and out up there, singing their songs, praying with us. And these were on the very last days. Somehow they came then, like, you know, they would keep coming in. Again, that was one of the reasons we said, oh my gosh, we're kind of like the hub for where, you know, this would just come to the Mauna. And we didn't want that to ever happen. But at the same time, it solidified the worldwide unity between all of us. And for me, I think just having all of the tribal people, the leaders, the warriors who I had stood with over time, time and time again, they walk up that Alahulukupuna, and I look out, I didn't even know they would be there, but I knew them from every place I had been. I had stood in lines with them, and they were on our mountain, and that I will never forget. I'll never forget. LaDonna and I sitting under that kupuna tent 3 times, you know, and then now watching her in her recovery, and a lot of her strength comes from sitting under that kupuna tent on Mauna Kea. And she keeps telling me every time we talk that as soon as she can, she's coming back up because she has to, because the mountain, along with her own place, is helping to heal her. You know, where you going to find things like that? You know, there's no even movies like that. That is truth. You know, that is truth, real truth. So yeah, that's the beauty of it. And I haven't meant to keep us on this call this long. I can see it's past 4, and I'm not sure what our time even was.
That's
Hui.
okay, Kumu. Kumu, it's some of my students. I just wanted to say that because I know you can't see questions, but that's why I'm kind of looking at my phone because I'm watching the feed as it's going. And I know Jade's there, Jade's son. That's your name.
Yes, I see him.
But I just wanted you to know that everything you're talking about, I feel like helps so many people because people are making comments on this feed, and it's beautiful. I think like it's like a cultural teaching lesson for many people who are either Koko Hawaii, Hawaiian, or indigenous to Mokuhonu, Turtle Island, or people having those feelings of, okay, I'm not Hawaiian, I was born there, or I'm not Hawaiian, I wasn't born there, but I feel Hawaiian. But it's really helping them to have more understanding. And I feel like that's what is needed because they just don't have understanding.
Yeah. And you know what, you guys out there, in the end, it don't matter. When you stand linked arm in arm, you know, we need everybody. And when I say we, I mean the earth. The earth needs everybody. We were told long ago when we first stood for Mauna Kea that this was going to be the movement that would bring the world together, and it would take everybody, and we better get used to that. And we said, okay, we're in, you know. So this is the movement by which everybody has the opportunity. You are welcome. We honor you, and your support means everything. Now, that doesn't mean, though, like we said earlier, that there's not protocols for conduct, but those would happen anywhere we go. They would happen anywhere we go. But more than that is the fact that no matter if you're Koko Hawaii, we said it all the time, Ena Hoa Aina, natives of this land, Ena Hoa Velolike, all those from the Pacific who we are related to, Ena Hoa Pili, all those we may not be related to, but are standing and have a relationship with us because you understand, because you're going through the same thing. Ena Hoa Aloha, all of our friends from Hawaii and beyond Hawaii, we leave no one out. No one out. Our Ho'opili are every single local person in Hawaii and beyond who stand for something. I hope we're all standing for something. So the Ho'aloha is really like those who, as we've said before, they end up on the mauna. They don't know why. They come from places, they don't know our mountain, but they knew they had to come. That's a Ho'aloha, you know, in that chant. And so this is about all of us together. Really it is. And I just want everybody to really know that, because the kahea might go out again. Maybe it will, the call out to come to the mountain, and maybe it won't. But I would say to people listening out there, let's try to halt this down here. Let's try to do everything we can and trust us that we are looking into every way that we can stop it here and not have to go up the mountain. But at the same time, trust that if we do, we will be ready to do that. And if the need be, we will rise to it. So trust is very important. People who have been in this, not our first rodeo, just trust. When you're speaking about any of us or the mountain, please say positive things. My goodness, that's a big one. You know, I really learn on Facebook how to frame what I say, whether it's an observation, whether it's a critique, whether it's my opinion. If I'm going to hurt somebody, don't say it. We have no idea, especially at people at the heads of these movements and working really hard. One thing, wow, you know, it's just like a rumor train wreck. So why, I don't know why sometimes we have to do that. We're so fast to be critical. You know, you have a question for me, private message me. I'll answer. Trust me, I'm not doing anything pono ole, and I'll give my last breath for this mauna. Enough said. You know, be good to the people and good to the mauna. You know, I mean, I can't say that enough. There's enough negativity to go around, but no need go around our mountain. No need go around. And when no need go around our mountain, no need go around anybody's mountain, anybody's water, anybody's life way. Let's really like, oh man, hone in on our positive skills and lifting each other up and doing the best thing for our whole beyond our Hawaii. And sometimes I gotta go there to say that just because of what I'm reading, what I'm feeling, you know. So that's huge for whether you're on the mountain, off the mountain, and on any mountain. How
Right,
you step
Kumu.
in, yeah. How you step in,
Yeah. And Kumu,
yeah,
that should be one shirt. I
yeah,
would do everything for Mauna Kea. Enough said.
yeah. Okay, our next one.
Because I think there's so many that, you know, I think you know already, Kumu. I'm going to speak from someone who respects you as my Kumu. I call you my Kumu, and I try to explain to people why I say Kumu is because I have that respect. And, you know, we all watching, and we all watching your moves. For me, I always call you Chief Kelly and Chief Wendler, people that I look at that's doing things that people don't realize what you guys do behind the scenes just because they might not see you talking or doing anything, but there's always things going on. And I think, you know, I understand that because I have a million things going on too. That may be different, but for me, it's always about the Mauna. United Prayers of Aloha was designed because of the Mauna. I'm doing what I'm doing because of the Mauna. I honor her all the time, and I pray that I can only do well. But my point is with you is that we're all watching, and to watch you walk in Kapu Aloha, to still speak your truth. That's what I feel is like we can still speak our truth, but how do we speak our truth in love? Like you
Right.
said, you know,
And you know
enough.
how we do that? I'm surrounded by a group of beautiful people standing just as I am, sitting on Zoom meetings. You know, what is the next move? What we gonna do? People who work so hard that I'm gonna work harder. People who love the Mauna so much that, you know, and that's just my circle. There are circles for everything we stand for. And I really want to pay tribute to especially all the people on all our moku who Mauna Kea has become pivotal for them because they know if they stand for the Mauna, they take it back to their original, their islands. They take it back to what they're standing for. They strengthen their own movements, and they stand stronger. Each island has, man, we have brave people. We have great organizers. We have great kia'i everywhere. We have beautiful supporters. We have ohana strong. And because of that, we're all able to do what we're doing. Every single one that writes their Facebook post and puts like and sends a photo and then come and just stand. And I do the same when I go to you guys, Moku, you know, stand in my humility, but stand in my full power. and same as you do on the Mauna, and it's that interweaving amongst all of us has been incredible. So Lahui throughout Hawaii, um, you have been the shining light, and just maintain that, because the kahea for anything is ever present, and could happen for the Mauna or for anything else. So we just do the best we can to be ready and truly aloha one another. In kapu aloha, we stand united, never divided. So, that there's so much to this. And then just say, man, I tired. We can say that too. This is exhausting, this is tiring, but when the bigger picture is so pono, something just like open that, and you just say, you know, can. So we can, because everybody, all of you can too. And you guys are amazing kiai everywhere. So I did want to acknowledge, I see there's somebody else on here.
Yes, they're accidentally coming on because
Oh,
we're gonna
no,
have class.
that's amazing.
But you know Noriko.
Yes, of course.
Oh,
Yeah. I do. How you, girl?
Good. Aloha kumu.
Aloha. Oh, so nice to see you guys too. So you guys have class now. I'm gonna
Yes.
lead you to it, because I probably have tons of other things as well. But
Yes.
but thank you for giving me the chance to clarify things and invite everybody. I expect a picture from this whole class.
Wait, hold on.
Make
I'm gonna
it.
take a picture right here. Let's
Oh,
take
yeah,
a picture.
yeah.
Everybody, whoever's on, get your Mauna up. Come on, Mary. I think you in the dark. Jade, where are you?
Right.
Okay.
Wait.
I know. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Sorry, because I'm taking the picture. Well, let me do this.
Yeah. Do it.
Yeah,
do
can you
it.
take a picture? Got it. But Kumu, yes, thank you so much again.
You
For
guys
today.
too.
It's okay because it's like so great. I know that everybody is so grateful that you're on and just sharing your mana'o. Because I'm sure that if they could ask you millions of questions, you would be on this forever. But
Yeah.
before you leave, I just want to remind everybody again, Actions for Mauna Kea. Find your favorite picture of your Mauna moment and please send to Actions for Mauna Kea.
Yes.
Tomorrow's 300, day 300, law 300. And also, if we can do this with you, Kumu, before you leave and we close this out, could we do the Mauna Kea Restore to Her True Splendor 10 times so we get it out there? Okay, everybody ready? Those of you who are on with me and Kumu, please put yourself on silent because it's going to have an echo. Okay.
Can I share something before I do that? Because I just got, this is how it is. Let's add this to it. One of my very best friends, her name is Kaula Kamahele. She was Miss Aloha Hula in, I think it was 1980, maybe. She was a peacock. Her grandbaby was just born, and they're doing well. And you see what we mean. These are the things. She was with me on the mountain. She's been with me since 1979 by my side, supports me forever in everything I do. And these are the little Mauna babies coming into the world. So now we can do that. Yeah, here we go. I'm here with you.
Okay, Kumu. Mauna Kea is restored to her true splendor. 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 Mahalo Kumu again for today. We love you. And we will we'll see you soon. Okay, Kumu. Stay
Okay.
safe. Give our love to Kapule, Uncle Kalani, and Havane.
Will do. Aloha.
Aloha.